डिजीज जैसा कि नाम बताता है, इट इज द डिजीज ऑफ मोटर न्यूरॉन्स. सेंसरी इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं होगी.
धीरे धीरे आराम से बताना.
ठीक है. मोटर न्यूरॉन means these are the group of neurodegenerative disorders, because motor neuron disease itself is an umbrella term. इसके अंदर बहुत सारी conditions आती हैं, but the common thing in all that is motor neurons will be affected. That's it. There would not be any sensory involvement. So it is neurodegenerative disorder. So degeneration progress करता ही जाएगा. We cannot stop this process, but we can manage the symptoms and we can increase the life expectancy of the patient. It affects the nerves in the spine and the brain to progressively lose its function. These are rare, but these are very serious, and इसको अपन cure नहीं कर सकते, as I told you, because it is progressive form of neurodegeneration. It is a condition that selectively affects the motor system. We all know that Stephen Hawking, he was having amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It is the part of MND. And there was another example of someone who has been living with ALS for several years. Epidemiology, its incidence is very poor. Male to female ratio is again very less. Mean age of onset is 55 years. Mean survival is 3 years. By the drugs or by the management, we can just increase the life expectancy, but we cannot stop the degeneration process completely. First of all, before getting to know what is motor neuron disease, we should know what are upper motor neurons and what are lower motor neurons. Upper motor neurons, that starts from the cerebral cortex. You can see in the diagram also. From the cerebral cortex, and they come down and innervate the lower motor neuron. Lower motor neurons are cranial nerves and spinal nerves, that is peripheral nerves. Example, corticospinal tract and corticobulbar or nuclear tract. Then what are lower motor neurons? Lower motor neurons that are present in the spinal cord, that is anterior horn cell or brain stem. That is the nucleus of cranial and the spinal nerves are the element, and they supply the skeletal muscles or smooth muscles. So if there is an element lesion or UMN lesion, the clinical features would be different in both of them. First of all, the location of lesion would be different. If there is a UMN lesion, UMN we know from the cerebral cortex to the spinal cord, the lesion could be at the brain stem and the spinal cord, corticospinal tract or CNS itself. In case of lower motor, nucleus are being affected and peripheral nerves. Tone, we know hypertonia, hypotonia in case of element. Reflexes, in case of human, it would be increased. And element, it could be absent or hyporeflexia, depending on the severity. Involuntary movements, in UMN, there's a muscular spasm, flexion or extensors, muscles are affected. Element, fasciculations are being observed. UMN, strength, weakness, paralysis, and element also weakness or paralysis, because spasticity doesn't mean that we have good strength. It is the weakness. Muscle bulk. In case of UMN, we cannot use the muscle appropriately because the muscles are being spastic. So there is a disuse atrophy because we are not using the muscle. So that's why it is going under disuse atrophy. In case of element, muscles are not being innervated because the nerves, the nerves and connection between the nerves and muscles are being cut off. That is called denervation atrophy. And voluntary movement are impaired or absent, and in this weak or absent. In case of MND, what are the levels of CNS that are being involved? That is frontal atrophy, corticobulbar pathway could be involved, cranial nerve nuclei, corticospinal tract, anterior horn cell. There are 5 clinical variants or 5 phases of motor neuron disease. First is pseudobulbar palsy. Pseudo means false, bulbar is a brain stem. So the problem is not itself in the brain stem, but the connections that are controlling the brainstem nuclei or cranial nerve nuclei precisely that are being disturbed. That is why it is known as pseudobulbar, that is false. So it affects the corticobulbar tracts bilaterally. So definitely it is UMN type manifestations we will get, that is hypertonia, increased reflexes, etc. And bulbar muscles we know that are being its functions are for articulation, phonation, tongue movement, swallowing. So symptoms would be dysphagia, dysarthria, and spastic tongue. Next is progressive bulbar palsy. In this, the cranial nerve motor nuclei are involved. So it is lower motor neuron type manifestations. Cranial nerve number 9, 10th, 11th, 12th, they undergo degeneration. And we know that these are known to supply the muscles of larynx, soft palate. So swallowing would be impaired, articulation, phonation would be impaired because larynx is being involved over here. So this is progressive bulbar palsy. Next is primary lateral sclerosis. In this, sclerosis means the scar formation. Cells of corticospinal tracts are degenerated, and we know corticospinal tracts are involved to govern the actions of spinal nerves. So it is the UMN type lesion because upper pathway is degenerated, not the lower. In this, we will get the limb onset disorder, spastic paralysis, at the point of degeneration, gliosis. That's why the name is sclerosis. Means in the spinal cord, we will see scar formation. That is the diagnosis, probably the diagnosis of primary lateral sclerosis. Next is progressive spinal muscular atrophy. That is progressive, as we know it is MND, so progression we cannot stop. Next is spinal muscular atrophy means it is element, that is the spinal nerves, peripheral nerves are being affected. So we will see the patient with the element manifestations. Anterior horn cell degeneration is there. Flaccid paralysis would be there. And movement is lost because we are not able to move the muscles. So there is a diffuse atrophy also. And trophic factors are lost. That is denervation wasting also. We see in case of element manifestation. Next is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It is somewhat common and it involves both the manifestations, LMN and UMN. When the patient comes to us, we will diagnose it. And if we see there is the element, that is flaccidity is also there along with the spasticity, then it should be in a differential diagnosis criteria that patient could have MND. So asymmetric weakness and muscle wasting 75%. Bulbar and pseudobulbar features, that is dysphagia, dysarthria, 25%. The key feature is a mixture of upper and lower motor involvement with normal sensation. This is very important in case of diagnosis of MND. Sensations are intact. Frontal lobe dementia is seen in 3 to 5% of cases of ALS. As disease progress, all levels of motor systems are being involved, whether it be respiratory or anything. Etiology. What are the different factors that causing the MND? First is genetic. In case of genetic, mutations in a SOD1 gene, and this gene is really important because it produces the enzyme superoxide dismutase, and this enzyme is responsible for removing the superoxide radicals and it converts them into non-harmful substances. So if there is a mutations in the gene, there would be the building up of the superoxide radicals, and that could probably cause the degeneration of our motor neurons. There are some viruses. Chronic virus infection could be the cause of MND because of the triggering of autoimmune diseases. There are some minerals, hyperparathyroidism, phosphate deficiency that could lead to anterior horn cell death. Abnormal clumps of protein found in motor neuron may themselves be toxic. Excessive glutamate has been implicated in neurodegeneration because we have seen in stroke also, in case of ischemic cascade, glutamate has a important role in neuronal death. So that could also be the reason of degeneration, and particularly in motor neuron degeneration. It has been hypothesized that lack of neurotrophic factors could contribute to development of ALS. So diagnosis, it is no sensory loss, bladder and bowel disturbance are intact. Means there is no bladder and bowel disturbance. Third, 4 and 6 cranial nerves are resistive to degeneration process. That means कभी भी MND के केस में अपन को extraocular muscle movement में कभी problem नहीं मिलेगी. This is a very key feature to note over here. Ocular muscles are never affected in MND. अगर ये affect हो रही हैं तो MND नहीं होगा. और अगर ये इफेक्ट हो रही है तो अपन को चेक करना चाहिए कि माइस्थेनिया ग्रेविस के चांसेस ऑटोमेटिकली इंक्रीज हो जाते हैं बिकॉज माइस्थेनिया ग्रेविस में ऑक्यूलर moment ultimately affect hota hi hai. In case of MND, death occurs due to respiratory failure, and the investigations are being done to exclude the other causes. That is, we are excluding the other diagnosis to before getting into that. Yes, it is MND. We have to exclude all the other diseases that could be the reason of the symptom, because MND is really fatal, and we cannot just diagnose as yes, you are suffering from MND. It has psychological aspect also. EMG and NCV, MRI, myelography, thyroid and calcium studies to exclude endocrine or any other metabolic diseases. It is the Scorial criteria for diagnosing ALS. What it says is if there is a presence of LMN signs in at least two limbs, it could be upper limb or lower limb, and UMN sign in at least one region, it could be bulbar, it could be cervical or lumbosacral, and we are seeing the progression of disease every time the patient comes to us, adding on to the symptoms that पहले मुझे ये नहीं होता था मुझे ये भी होने लग गया है. So this is the progression of disease. So, and plus there is an absence of sensory signs. There are no sensory disturbances, no neurogenic sphincter disturbances, and excluding other clinically evident CNS PNS disease. So we can say yes, you are suffering from ALS. Treatment, we cannot stop the disease. We can just manage the disease. We can manage the symptoms like anarthria or dysarthria. We can manage it, speech, assessment, and communication aids we can provide to the patient. Dysphagia and aspiration, as there is a problem in swallowing the food. What we do, percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy. We provide with the nutrition because patient is unable to swallow anything. Respiratory failure, invasive ventilatory assistance should be there. Normally, the patient should be admitted to ICU if the involvement is of respiration. And there is a disease modifying treatment. Riluzole is a drug that has anti-glutamate properties. Dose is 100 mg safe, and its effect is prolonging survival by 2 months. These are the references. Thank you.
यार इसमें